Hello, welcome to another Bolts Analysis. I'm your host Chris as we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and the rest of the NHL. And I'm going to look today back at the Atlantic Division because after last night's result for the Buffalo Sabres, I feel like there's a glimmer of hope for Sabres fans. A glimmer. I'm keeping it to a glimmer. I'll get into why. But last night, Buffalo Sabres 2, Winnipeg Jets 1 in Buffalo. And that puts Buffalo on 66 points. Now, it's been quite apparent that neither Toronto nor Florida are really making much of a case for being able to hold on to third. Toronto lost their last game before the trade deadline to a Zamboni driver, and that's all you need to say about Toronto at the moment. There are no other comments necessary. That alone highlights that they are having a bit of a shocker of a season, and they're in third. And Florida, since the All-Star break, are 4-8-1. Looked like they were turning it around during that road trip. Beat the Sharks, beat the Ducks, but then lost to the Kings, let in 5, lost to Vegas, let in 5. The defensive issues for the Florida Panthers are not going away. So, you have a situation for Buffalo where you're on 66. Florida are only 4 points ahead on 70. Toronto are only 2 points further ahead of Florida, so they're only 6 points ahead of you. There's an opportunity there. Buffalo have shown in recent games that they are not quite done with this season. They are not accepting that it's going to be another, what if, or good gracious, if only we could stop playing, keep playing after November. Which, seems to be an unfortunate theme for Buffalo in recent seasons. But this week just gone, there's definitely improvement. Beating Toronto 5-2, that's always good if you're a Buffalo fan. They capitalised on the many, many issues with the Leafs defence. 3 goals in a minute and a half, 5-2, that's a good win. Then it does take a bad turn, and I feel like this is one of the things that means that it's only a glimmer of hope for Buffalo. They lose 7-4 at Ottawa. 7? You let in 7 goals against the Ottawa Senators, who are right down, would be bottom of the Atlantic if it wasn't for Detroit. That's not good. So, back to the, another season without the playoffs. But then, this weekend, go to Pittsburgh, and that looks like a tough game. That doesn't look like a game that's going to be easy. Walk out of Pittsburgh with a 5-2 win. Get out of the shot, but it doesn't matter. Capitalise once again on the defensive issues that, admittedly not as much, but there are issues for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Capitalise on them 5-2, great. And then last night at home to Winnipeg, to a certain extent, don't need to go crazy, don't need to score 5, score 1, get back to tie, but capitalise once again, sort of realise that another team, Winnipeg, who are shaky defensively, and we'll get to that, score 2-1, and then shut the door. 2-1 will do. 2-1, that's enough. And good win for Buffalo. Since the All-Star break, here's a comparison. Florida have been 4-8-1. 4 wins, 8 losses, 1 overtime. That is bad. That is not playoff form. Buffalo have been 7 wins, 5 losses, and 1 overtime. That's better. That's not outstanding. That's not wholly jumping the Sabres are on the move, but that's better. And as long as they continue to stay, on a better run of form than Florida and Toronto, then they can absolutely finish third. However, the thing that makes me think that this is only a glimmer of hope and it might get extinguished, but we'll see in the coming week, is 4-game road trip. 4-game road trip to some of the toughest opponents in the Western Conference. This is going to really test whether or not Buffalo actually wants to make the playoffs. Colorado, Vegas and Arizona, and that's a back-to-back, and Winnipeg again in Winnipeg. If the Buffalo Sabres can maintain a 500 sort of record, win at least 2 of those, then they've still got a chance. But it's a big ask. It's a big ask for Buffalo. I don't know, personally, as a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, we've had, all those games quite recently. We did trounce Winnipeg in Winnipeg, but, that's not going to happen every time. We just about got past Colorado, and it wasn't easy. That needed overtime. And then we kind of got our butts handed to us by Vegas, and we definitely got our butts handed to us by Arizona. That's still quite fresh in the mind. So, if Colorado and Vegas and Arizona are capable of giving us a tough time, then they're definitely going to give Buffalo a tough time. It will be a real test of character. It will be a test to see if Buffalo are anywhere near fixing the issues that they clearly have. 1, being over-reliant on Jack Eichel. 2, goalie. And I guess 3, just shutting a game down. Like, can they do that more often? And are they sort of, capable of being more consistent, not just sort of being like, yay, we beat, Pittsburgh, we beat Toronto, but Ottawa, sorry guys, I don't know how that happened. If they can get rid of those sort of inconsistencies, tighten up defensively, and someone steps up to help Eichel, I don't particularly care who, but someone, so he's not carrying the entire roster on his back, then Buffalo can make a case for third. It'll be interesting to watch, but they can also take advantage of the fact that Florida and Toronto are playing each other this week, so, one of those two is definitely dropping points. This is the time to capitalise, Buffalo. Let's see what you're made of.